Oh dear.
What? Oh.
How wonderful. The soporific has started working. Well done, Fordham. Now how are you supposed to... What's the word I'm looking for? Instigate? Interrogate? I just had it on the tip of my tongue.
Perhaps it's time to call it a night.
Hey guys, it's Lotus. In the last video, we solved the case of Madame Dupre, which, ironically, she was a victim, but we uncovered her true nature as an abuser and killer. Now that that's completed, I wonder what our next case is going to be. I am loving this game so far, I really am. It's so amazing. But anyways, without further ado, grab your snacks and or drinks. I have a cup of hot cocoa right here, and I think it's time for Miles to go to bed. Last time we were playing this game, so yeah. I wonder if he'll take that
Would that
soporific.
be at this time of night?
Good question. But Adelaide can handle it for now. I need to take my medicine.
You certainly have your priorities in order. Go on then. Get that bottle of rat piss out of your nightstand and let's get this over with.
So passive aggressive. Was
Addie
someone
can handle
knocking?
whoever's at the door. I need to take my medicine.
I mean, shouldn't you be concerned of who's knocking at the door? I don't know. Do I have to? I guess I have to.
Ugh, tastes like the devil's sweat.
You could just stop taking it, you know.
Bill, now is not the time to...
Miles, could you come back out here, please?
Be right there, dearest.
Alrighty.
Who's that at the door?
A late night courier. You got a message from Upton.
Ah, okay. Fordham. This case makes the last one look simple. Oh god. Meet me at Ruin ASAP. It's urgent. See Upton.
Seems this case is rather urgent. Wants me to meet her as soon as possible.
But didn't you just take your soporific? Are you going to be all right to go?
It won't kick in for another hour or so. Should be plenty of time.
All right, I'm going to bed then. Good luck, dear.
Good night, Addie.
Oh jeez. Okay. Let's head out. He's gonna be all loopy, like, She's gonna be like, are you on drugs?
Hello, Upton.
I'm glad you came, Fordham. Sorry for disturbing you this late.
What's so urgent that couldn't wait until the morning? Shouldn't a respectable lady like you be in bed by now?
I'm curious to know what's so important that it couldn't wait until morning.
An infant kidnapping in Lyon. The report
Whoa.
came in tonight just before my shift ended. The family wants to keep the investigation very low-key. They're afraid if word gets out, they'll have all sorts of ne'er-do-wells making false ransom claims. That's why I suggested they let you investigate first. Head over to
Well, I'm
45
flattered.
Elkhorn Street. That's the home of Malcolm and Miriam Harris, the parents of the kidnapped boy.
I get to talk to rich people.
Harris, as in Harris Construction Company?
The very same. Owned by Malcolm's father, no less. Now you see why they wanted to keep this out of the public eye.
Indeed. If they manage to get a new transatlantic airship off the ground, it'll be an aura mine. I can see why they'd make an easy target. Okay, I'm on it. I'll try and find him as soon as I possibly can.
Right. Good luck on your investigation. Come see me again once you figured things out. Or if you just need to talk. I'll be here all day tomorrow as well. So feel free to stop by.
Is this where you live, Upton? Like all of the same people are still here at this dinky ass coffee place, coffee shop. All right. Oh, look at the pacifier.
Mr. Miles Fordham is here to see you, sir.
Very good, Mr. Havelock. Send him up.
Yes, sir.
I love the voice acting in this game.
Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Fordham. I'm Malcolm Harris.
I'm terribly sorry to hear about what's happened, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham. You were very highly recommended by Miss Upton. She said you'd be able to solve this faster and more discreetly than the police. I admit it's a rather unorthodox approach, but we're desperate.
I understand. I'll do all I can to find the kidnapper and bring your son back unharmed.
If you'd like to examine the nursery, it's just through that door to the left. I'll ask you to please try and keep quiet as I just sent my wife to bed. Her nerves are rather shot, you see.
Yes, of course.
Fair enough.
I have some questions for you, Mr. Harris.
No doubt you do, but I'm really not in the mood to talk right now. It's been a difficult evening, and I'm not certain I have it in me to answer your questions at the moment.
I mean, do you
Fair
want to
enough,
find your son
but I
or
will
not?
need to ask you about the incident at some point.
Yes, that's fine. Just not now.
See, if my baby was missing, I'll answer any questions, anytime, any place. That's just a weird reaction to have.
It's nice to see that tea is still served here, even in times of tragedy. I wouldn't get too close, Miles. That vase is probably worth more than your entire building.
That vase is probably worth more than Miles. Just saying.
I'm sure the only location the Harrises care about is wherever they are at any given moment.
Okay. To the nursery. Oh, someone broke in?
Probably won't be another year or so before the child gets any practical use out of those blocks beyond putting them in his mouth. Interesting. This fabric looks as though it came from a garment of some kind.
The curtains? Or maybe the clothes someone was wearing?
Be careful not to cut yourself, Miles. I don't think the Harris family has ever seen blood that isn't blue. Look, you can see the balcony extends all the way around the side of the manor.
That would make it rather easy for someone to access this window from the outside.
No evidence of what was used to smash the glass, though.
So can we take this? Okay, we can.
There's a small emblem sewn onto the side of this piece of fabric. It just says SS.
Somebody's initials, maybe?
Yeah. Could be.
It looks rather flimsy. Let's not try sitting on it.
Okay.
Oh dear.
What? Oh.
How wonderful. The soporific has started working. Well done, Fordham. Now how are you supposed to... What's the word I'm looking for?
Instigate. Interrogate. I just had it on the tip of my tongue.
Perhaps it's time to call it a night.
Oh no.
Shh. It's time to sleep.
Oh.
That's interesting.
But sleep is more interesting.
No.
I am fading.
No, we need to investigate.
I am fading.
Oh, jeez.
Quiet.
Okay. Look at the way he's walking, too. He's like, I can't do anything.
That's interesting.
But sleep is more interesting.
Is more interesting.
That's interesting.
Oh, wow, he can't do anything because he's so tired.
Well, Mr. Harris, I believe I've done all I can for right now.
Did you find anything?
Yes, I believe I have some leads I can pursue. But the most important thing to do in cases like this is wait to hear from the kidnappers. I'll be back tomorrow morning to continue my investigation and ask you and your wife some questions once you've had time to calm down a bit. In the meantime, I suggest you stay here and get some sleep. We'll all need it.
It sounds so trippy when he's on the soporific. So he doesn't sleep in bed, he sleeps on the armchair?
Miles, wake up.
I guess
It's
because he
nearly
gets so
noon.
tired. Oh.
Ah, so it is.
Why didn't you come to bed when you got home last night?
It was late. I didn't want to disturb you.
So what was so urgent about the case Upton sent you?
I'm trying to track a kidnapped child.
Oh my goodness. That's awful.
Yes, the pressure's on, but I think I should be able to crack it.
Assuming you actually managed to get anything done at the Harris Manor today.
Well, let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Also, we've got company. Mrs. Delacroix is having her hair done here today, so please make yourself presentable.
You mean I'm not already?
At least do something about your hair. I do have a reputation to maintain after all.
True that.
What's wrong with my hair?
Do you really want me to answer that? We'll be here all day. It's admirable, just...
Okay.
And then he said, "Oh, hello there. I don't believe we've met."
Mrs. Delacroix, this is my husband, Miles. Miles, this is Mrs. Delacroix.
Pleasure to meet you, madam.
Likewise, young man. Pleasure.
Are you okay?
Is everything all right, Mrs. Delacroix?
Right, like,
Oh, yes, everything's fine. It's just that,
what?
well, you weren't what I was expecting, is all.
Keep your head, Miles. She may be a
Oh.
close-minded idiot, but she's just an old lady.
You mean the portrait? Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna keep it cool and calm and collected. But that was rude.
What were you expecting exactly?
Well,
Now then, Mrs. Delacroix, what was it that you were telling me about Mr. Delacroix and his dogs?
oh, yes.
A white
So,
man married
Harold
to a
came
black
in and
woman.
said,
Oh my god.
Impressive. She got off pretty easy. I was expecting a repeat of the Parsons incident.
No,
You
I'm
should
gonna
give
keep it
Adelaide
cool.
a kiss on the way out, though, just to make the old bat feel extra uncomfortable.
Yes.
Addie?
Not right now, Miles. I'm busy. We can talk once I finish with Mrs. Delacroix.
Dang, I can't give you a kiss. You guys can pause and read this. All right. Let's find this baby. Oh, there we go.
Goodbye, dearest.
Aww.
I look forward to your return, my love.
How cute.
Remind me, Miles, how is finding some rich people's kidnapped baby going to help us track down the flower shop burglar?
Oh my goodness.
I'm not interested in the burglar right now. I want to help these people and get their child back. Or at the very least, help them find out what happened to him.
Right. Well, you'll need your full wits about you if you plan on doing that.
I do have my full wits about me. I'm perfectly capable of doing this.
Yes, and I'm perfectly capable of being alive. Just choose to be this way because it saves on the laundry expenses.
Oh,
Can't
okay.
deny it. You need to stop taking the soporific, Miles. Adelaide has been trying to get you to stop for months, and Upton already suspects something is amiss. Not to mention your little episode last night. Trust me, no one is going to want to hire the duller detective.
Clever. Did you come up with that one all by yourself?
What are you going to do when the cases stop coming in? How long before you get put away in Riverview?
If I do get locked away, it'll be your fault.
Which is exactly why you
True.
need to get back to your normal routine so you can find the burglar.
All right, fine. I'll stop. But if you keep me awake at night, so help me.
Don't worry. I'm sure you'll find a way to cope. You were always good at that. Well, I'm glad that's settled then. I knew you'd see things my way eventually.
Yeah,
It's not as though you gave me much of a choice.
Right.
In time, you'll thank me. Probably not before the withdrawal hits, though.
Don't make
You
me
get
change my mind on
withdrawals
this
from
bill.
soporifics? I guess.
Mr. Fordham, you're back. Allow me to introduce my wife, Miriam.
Hello.
A pleasure, Mrs. Harris. I wish we could have met under better circumstances, but I assure you I'm doing all I can to find your son.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham.
Mr. Harris, has there been any communication from the kidnapper?
None at all.
Well, I'll have another look around, if you don't mind.
Okay. Do we have... Yeah. Okay. The purloined progeny. Okay.
I have some questions for you, Mr. Harris.
Are you ready for
Yes,
the
of
questions
course.
now? Okay, cool.
Tell me everything you can about the kidnapping.
I don't know much. I was out last night while it happened.
Where had you been previously?
I was out with friends. My wife can verify the time I arrived home.
Wait a minute. I know this attitude all too well. This man is hiding something. Most likely from his wife.
eh?
I doubt it's voices from beyond the grave. So the question is, what's his secret?
Right.
I found this bit of torn fabric by the broken window. Do you know anything about it?
Looks like it came from a piece of clothing. Possibly a jacket.
Did the initials SS mean anything to you?
Maybe? I can't really say. You'll have to excuse me, Mr. Fordham. I've got quite a lot on my mind right now. If I can think of anything, I'll be sure to let you know.
He doesn't seem like he's all that concerned that his baby is missing. It's kind of weird.
Tell me about your son.
Charles is a good boy. Very quiet. Miriam had wanted a child almost from the moment we married. You know how women are when they have their hearts set on something. I saw no need to rush, but
It's nice to know you're not the only one. Hey, Miles.
the first 2 times Miriam was with child, she suffered some unfortunate accidents. She was devastated, as you can imagine. So when Charles finally came along, he turned out to be quite a blessing. I can't imagine what sort of depraved madman would take him from us like this.
Sorry about that. There was someone knocking very loudly on the door, like soliciting and stuff, even though we have a sign that says no soliciting. Anyways, let's get back into the game.
You must find him, Mr. Fordham.
I intend to, Mr. Harris. Tell me about yourself.
There isn't much to tell, really. My life has been fairly well publicized in the newspapers.
Let's pretend for a moment that I skip over the society pages.
Well, I'm an investor. My father Clyde runs Harris Construction Company, which I will someday inherit. Any other details about me are fairly trivial nonsense, I think.
Those are all the questions I had for now.
All right.
He doesn't seem like willing to give up any extra information. It's just very basic stuff. I don't know why. I just feel like he's hiding something. All right, Miriam.
I have some questions for you if you're up to answering them, Mrs. Harris.
I'll try my best, Mr. Fordham.
Hopefully you can tell me more than your husband.
Tell me what you know about your son's kidnapping.
God.
Oh, my poor baby. Oh.
Mrs. Harris, I know this is difficult, but I need as much information as you can give me so I can bring your son back.
Yes, you're right. I have to stay strong. For Charles, it happened sometime between 6 and 8 last night. I think both my husband and I had gone out. Charles was in the care of his nanny, Mrs. Davis. I arrived home first, around 8:30, and that's when I found the scene in the nursery, as it was.
And what was it you found?
Mrs. Davis, unconscious in her chair, the broken window, and Charles missing from his crib. Malcolm arrived home shortly afterwards, around 9, and then immediately sent our butler, Mr. Havelock, to notify the police. We stayed up waiting for any contact from the kidnappers, but there was nothing.
Your husband mentioned he was out with friends last night. Where were you?
Oh, I was visiting with some of my friends. We gathered at one of their homes for a concert.
What
It
the
seems
hell?
hiding something from your spouse is an activity both Harrises partake in.
Right. Y'all better tell me what's going on.
What can you tell me about Mrs. Davis?
Well, she's worked for us since Charles was born, a little over 6 months ago.
How did you come to employ her?
Malcolm's mother had a friend whose daughter she used to care for. She came highly recommended. We've never had any problems with her. She's always been a dream.
Where is she now?
In her room, I would guess. With Charles missing, there's little for her to do.
Where might I find her room?
There's a small building just around the back of the manor. Hers is the 4th door from the left.
Alright, I guess we're gonna talk to her next.
Can you think of any reason why your son would be a target for kidnapping?
It could be that someone wants our money, or some lunatic who's angry about the new airship. My husband's an investor, and my father-in-law owns the company building it, you see. I just don't know, Mr. Fordham. Frankly, the fact that something like this could even happen is just terrifying.
I found this bit of torn fabric by the broken window. Do you know anything about it?
No, I've never seen it before. Do you think it was left by the kidnapper?
Perhaps. Did the initials SS mean anything to you?
No, I can't think of anyone or anything I know with those initials.
Tell me about your son.
Charles is our only child. He's such a good boy. Never makes a fuss. Always very sweet. Oh, Charles, you must be so frightened out there without your mother. Oh, please, Mr. Fordham. You have to bring him home.
Oh,
I'll do my best. Tell me a bit about yourself,
hopefully he's
Mrs.
still
Harris.
alive.
Mr. Fordham, my son has been kidnapped and is out there alone, terrified and confused. What can I possibly
Listen.
tell you that would make any difference to you finding him?
I
Anything
suppose you're right,
can
Mrs.
help.
Harris. My apologies if I upset you. That's all for now, Mrs. Harris.
Very well.
Goodness. It's like they want to find their son, but they
Miles,
don't want
didn't
to
you
tell me
notice something a
much.
bit strange about the Harrises?
Quite a few
Everything.
things, actually. What are you referring to?
Their son was just kidnapped, yet they're each on their own side of the sitting room. Not comforting each other, not crying together. Nothing.
They're having
They're
affairs
stuck-up
on
rich
each other.
people. Not exactly the type to show emotion.
Miles, you know I'm the most cynical person there is when it comes to their type. But this isn't normal behavior, even for snobs. This goes deeper than saving face. There's something going on between them. I think you should find out what.
I agree.
Fancy. Some poor servant's probably going to get a flogging for leaving it in here, though. It looks like a pile of women's clothes. Must belong to Mrs. Harris.
There's a
Any
handwritten
notes?
note among the clothes.
Of course. Miriam, baby, I have to see you tonight. It's been far too long. R. Ooh.
Nothing else hidden among the clothes. Too bad. Who in their right mind would need that many drawers?
Someone with a lot of clothes.
Let's see what we have here. A very poorly written letter addressed to Mr. Harris.
I don't suppose it's a letter of admiration.
On the contrary, the author seems quite upset.
Mr. Harris, this is your weekly reminder on how much I hate you because because of you, my wife is dead. My wife was a wonderful woman and you have taken her from me. I hope you suffer as much as I have. Arthur Devons. So why didn't Mr. Harris... Why didn't he mention this?
Nothing else of note in any of the drawers.
Oh, well,
That's
at least we got
important
to play a rousing
information.
game of Search the Rich People's Dresser.
Nothing else.
Oh,
yeah.
well,
Sorry.
wardrobes are usually always full of wonderfully dark secrets.
Well, let's see. Ooh,
An
the
empty
case.
suitcase. I suppose Mr. Harris must travel every now and then.
Okay.
One thing is for certain. Mr. Harris uses entirely too much starch on his shirts. Yeah, it seems like this is where Mrs. Harris keeps her unmentionables. I like the ones with the frills and the stitched cat.
Unmentioned.
Paperwork and receipts. Nothing particularly interesting here.
Alright.
More lacy underthings. I wonder which Harris they belong to.
Let's
Mr.
not wonder
Harris's
too
color
much.
selection is almost as drab as yours.
Let's see if there's anything of interest in any of the pockets.
So, Mr. Harris is a fan of the ponies, is he? I'm sure that's not causing him any trouble at all.
So, okay, so he makes bets on horses. What if he, like... I was gonna say, what if he owes money? I don't know.
Painting of the city. Probably the only time the Harris family sees any of the other boroughs.
Okay.
Oh, another four-poster. The Harris family certainly makes no secret of their wealth.
Alright, let's look at this. Stubs from the local horse racing track with yesterday's date on them. So that's where he was. Okay. Making bets. Okay. Hopefully we can confront them about it. Like, why would he
I have
mention
some questions
that?
for you, Mr. Harris.
Yes, of course.
I found this letter in your bedroom. What can you tell me about it?
You went through our things?
I'm a
Absolutely.
private investigator, Mr. Harris. It's part
Do
of
you
my
want
job.
me to find your child or
Of all
not?
the insolence!
You're upset, I know, but do you want me to find your son or don't you?
Exactly.
Yes, of course I
Don't
do.
get mad at me
That
for doing
letter
my
was sent to
job.
me by mistake. It was written to my father. Well, if you can even call that writing.
Have I ever mentioned how much I hate rich people? Because I really hate rich people.
Father. Doesn't he own the company building the new airship?
Yes, that's right. He's been receiving many letters just like that one since the Lygia disaster. But that Devons fellow in particular has sent one every week, along with a bag of chicken bones and dust.
How peculiar.
Not only that, he leads a daily protest in front of the construction yard where the HMS Lenore is being built, trying to halt production. My God! How did I not see this before?
I
See
don't
what?
know.
Devons! He has a grudge against this family because of what happened with the Lygia. I'd put money on him being involved with the kidnapping somehow, as a form of retaliation.
I'll just have to speak with Mr. Devons and see for myself.
I mean, it's definitely a little suspect.
Mr. Harris, what can you tell me about these?
What? How did you...
Listen, I'm trying
I'm
to
a
help you
private
and your family.
investigator.
I can't do it if I don't get the entire truth.
Do you think we could discuss this somewhere more private?
I suppose we could.
Good. Let's move to the nursery then.
Trying to hide stuff from your wife, eh? Not the way to go. Can I ask her?
I have some questions for you if you're up to answering them, Mrs. Harris.
Can I ask her about
try
the
my
note
best,
while
Mr.
he's in
Fordham.
there? Maybe I can.
I found this note in your bedroom. What can you tell me about it?
What? You have no right to go through my things.
Mrs. Harris, I'm just trying to find your son. The sooner I know about any clues I might find, the faster I can proceed with my investigation.
Fine. I
Is
got
Charles
that note last
even-
night from Roland.
What if Charles is not Malcolm's child? Oh my god. That would be crazy.
Who is Roland?
Roland is a special friend.
Your lover!
I see.
Oh, don't you judge me, Mr. Fordham. You have no idea what my marriage has been
Let me
like.
guess, the baby
Marrying
is
Malcolm wasn't my
Roland's.
idea, nor even his. The whole thing was orchestrated by our fathers. They
Ooh.
thought merging the two families would be a good business arrangement.
Is your marriage an unhappy one then?
It wasn't easy at first, and it didn't get any easier as it went on, either.
So then why not end it?
Mr. Fordham, we are a respectable family. There are certain considerations. Besides, I had no legal grounds. For all his faults, Malcolm is a very faithful man. almost frustratingly so. Then, somewhat unexpectedly, we had Charles. At least that made things bearable.
I'm sorry for you, Mrs. Harris, I really am. But I think I should talk to this Roland.
Why? He has nothing to do with this.
That's for me to decide. Where can I find him?
Exactly. You don't get to
I don't
decide
know.
that.
I've never been to his home. We usually meet at a hotel.
And do the
Can you
nasty,
tell me anything that would help me track him down?
Well,
Mhm.
he's a musician. He plays the piano at some clubs in Gascon, but I don't know which for sure.
How about his last name?
I don't know that either.
How?
I gather you don't talk much.
I refuse to answer that question, Mr. Fordham.
It's a good thing I don't have a stomach anymore,
Oh,
because I can guarantee you its contents would be on the floor right now.
I'm telling you, that child is.
That's
is
all for
his.
now, Mrs. Harris.
It's Roland.
Very well.
This is a mess.
Shall we continue our conversation, Mr. Harris?
Yes, of course.
Now that your wife is out of earshot, tell me about the kidnapping and what these betting stubs have to do with it.
Right. As I said before, it had already happened when I got home. I had just come from spending the evening at the meadows.
I see. I take it your wife isn't impressed by your hobby?
I promised her weeks ago that I would stop going, but I've had such a good streak lately.
Oh,
The
you're
last
addicted.
thing I wanted was to upset her further, yet it would be foolish of me to just give up on something so promising.
Can you think of anyone who might want to do you harm by taking your son?
Several, I'm afraid.
Oh,
Go on.
God.
I haven't exactly had the best of luck, Mr. Fordham. That's why this latest streak was so important to me. The truth is, I've gambled away most of my money. I've had to take out several loans so Miriam doesn't get suspicious. If
Had a
she
feeling.
ever found out, it would be over. I can't lose her, Mr. Fordham. I just can't.
Where have I heard this before?
Well,
You know, things would be so much easier.
you've already
if
lost
people just
her.
talked
So,
to each other.
I've tried doing business above board, but lately I've had to seek other resources.
What do you mean?
I was forced to visit a lending office. The owner was a rather shady Sambo, but I figured he'd be easier to deal with than the usual sheenies that run those type of places.
Can you believe this guy? Maybe we should just leave the kid be. He'd probably be better raised by wolves.
Who was the owner?
Mr. LaFay. I didn't bother to get his first name. His business is an abattoir row in Chumley. Horrid place. But I was desperate.
You think this Mr. LaFay may have taken your son as collateral?
Let's just
Why
say there
would he,
isn't
though?
much those type of people
Oh,
wouldn't
I guess
do to
for
put a crown in
ransom.
their pocket.
How goes the construction of the new airship?
There have been some complications, but nothing we can't handle.
Could you be a bit more specific?
Well, I already told you about the trouble with protesters at the yard, and we're blocked pending Royal Maverick's review of the safety regulations for the prototype etheric diffusion engines. Agitators and red tape aside, we should still be on schedule to have the Lenore finished and in the air by the end of the year. But really, Mr. Fordham, what the deuce does this have to do with finding Charles?
He has a point, you know.
Those are all the questions I had for now.
All right.
just answer my
If
questions.
you don't mind,
I
Mr.
don't need your
Fordham,
back
I'm
talk.
going back to the living room. I don't want Miriam getting suspicious.
I mean, both of you guys are hiding secrets from each other, so. Ugh. Okay, think I'm gonna stop here. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you so much for all of the support. I really, really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.